In this video, we will talk about inclusive growth and the issues arising from it. So this topic comes in GS paper 3 in economy. So let's talk about it and let's know what is inclusive growth and what are the issues which are arising from it. So let's start. So as per Organization of for Economic Cooperation and Development, inclusive growth is economic growth that is distributed fairly across society and creates opportunities for all. So we can see here that as per OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, inclusive growth is that type of growth which is distributed fairly across the society. That is, all people in the society are covered under the umbrella of growth. That may be social growth or economic growth or political growth, any type of growth, or growth in education, all the basic facilities. So all the people should be covered in it, and it should not be, there should not be inequality in the society, that the rich is getting richer day by day and the poor is getting poorer, and poor people are getting exploited by the rich people. So this is not the type of growth which our country wants. Our country wants inclusive growth, and this was one of the Gandhian principles. So that Gandhiji wanted inclusive growth in our country, and it so for inclusive growth we have to firstly create opportunities, equal opportunities for all, and that is when the growth will be distributed fairly across society. Yes, there are people with different capabilities, different mindsets, economic different economic perspectives, the different economic conditions, and different classes and castes, and they have their own customs and beliefs and traditions. People from different religion in India is a very diverse country, but still we have to take all the people under the umbrella of inclusive growth, and we have to provide reservations for SCs, STs, OBCs, because they are very marginally accepted in the society, as well as very economically weaker sections. They are economically weaker sections of the society. So we have to create equal opportunities for all. Now we'll move on to the next slide. So what are the features of inclusive growth? So the first feature of inclusive growth is that we have to address the constraints of the excluded and marginalized. So who are the marginalized in our country? So if we see from a historical perspective, the marginalized people in our countries are scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, then people who are at the very subsistence level, that is low economic conditions, and then people from the lower castes such as the Shudras, which are known as Harijans, or untouchables, which were known as untouchables in the earlier times, but now the government has given them government has made laws that untouchability should be abolished. So these are the people which are marginalized in our society. Then comes participation from all sections of the society. So what is participation from all sections of the society? That all the sections of the society, whether be it children or women or men, or the under or the people from different classes, different castes, different religions, different beliefs, customs, traditions, and whether they are transgenders, or they are LGBT community, or they are from backward classes, SCs, STs, OBCs, they all should participate equally in the development of our country and the society, and they should all try and strive to become better citizens of India and do something for our country. So this is what participation from all sections of the society means. Then comes, these are the features of inclusive growth. So this will be very helpful to you during your mains preparation for GS paper 3, and also this will be very helpful for you during the mains preparation for GS paper 3, because you can note down these points and you can just explain about them in your answers. So that will be that will fetch you marks. So now the third point is reduction in disparities among per capita incomes. So as we know, we should reduce the disparities among per capita incomes. So for that, firstly we will have to give equal basic facilities to the people, that is proper education, healthcare, sanitation, fooding, clothing and shelter, and equal opportunities to all. Then only there should be reduction in there will be reduction in disparities among per capita incomes, because we see in our society and in our country especially that even if the people have talent, the people have the mindset, and the people have the IQ, and the people have the desire, then also they lack opportunities. And maybe there may be a child in from a well-off family which is getting good education, and he's not doing very well in life. But if a similar child from a rural background is placed in his shoes, then he may do better with the same facilities, because he has more desire so to do better in life, and he's not provided with these opportunities. So he lives his full life as a very in a very poor economic background. So that's how reduction in disparities can be done. And also it is being done with the progressive taxation that our country has. So the more you earn, the more taxes you have to give to the government, and these taxes are utilized for the development of our country, providing subsidies to the farmer, providing better education, health, sanitation facilities, and shelter, clothing, food for the poor people, so that there is reduction in disparities among per capita incomes. And we also have to focus on skill development as well as better education, because still we achieve full education, that is full 100% education and literacy of our country, especially of our children, we cannot become a developed country. So that's where the reduction in disparities comes. And also focus on skill development, so that the children are not only educated but are able to earn from the skills they have acquired. They should be trained, and they should be trained in some particular skills, and they should acquire those skills and become experts in those skills. That's how they will contribute towards the economic growth of our country, and per capita GDP, per capita income will also increase, and the total GDP of our country, total GNP of our country, and total NDP and total NNP of our country will also increase. So now next, move on to the next slide. These were the features of inclusive growth. These are also features of inclusive growth. Two more features. There are 5 features. Then ensure access of people to basic infrastructure and basic services capabilities such as basic health and education. This access should include not only the quantity but also quality of these basic services. So here the point is telling that we should ensure basic facilities and basic amenities to all the people, that is basic education, healthcare, sanitation, then shelter, fooding, cloth, clean drinking water. These are the basic facilities that a person needs to fulfill his life, to live his life and to fulfill his dreams. And then only he will be able to give equal opportunities to all. But this type of equal opportunities should not only be quantitative but also qualitative. That is, we see that government is able to provide education from 6 to 14 years of children, and it is compulsory for the parents to educate the children which are under the age group which belong to the age group of 6 to 14 years. But still there are people who cannot afford to send their children to the private schools as the fees is very high, so they send their children to the government school. So the quantity is there, but the quality that the private school is giving with the better facilities, better education, is not in the government school. So firstly we have to improve the system, we have to train the teachers, and this not only is in the education sector but all the sectors of our economy, as well as polity, as well as social, as well as society also, and community. So this difference between quality in private institutions and government institutions, as well as other institutions where the quality standards are not being followed, and the children or the adults also are not able to benefit from these institutions, should be taken care of and should be minimized, so that it cannot be eradicated in one day, but it should be government should strive and people should strive to minimize it, so that all the people should get equal opportunities. Then we move on to the next point, that is include poor, lagging socio-economic groups and lagging regions as well as they are partners in this growth. So we see that there is development in our country. India is developing very fast, but there is irregularity in development, and some of the regions are very less represented. So and there is inequality in development between states, so that there is intra-state irregularity in development. That is, some states are more developed, some states are less developed, some states are not able to utilize all the resources that they have. Some states don't have resources, but they still focus on some sectors in which they are very strong, and don't focus on other sectors. So this is known as irregularity in development, that some of the sectors are flourishing whereas some other sectors are in a dead state, and some of the states are very much corrupt. The politicians, the people who are running the government, the executive, the legislature, these are very much corrupt. So the state is, in spite of having much resources, the state is facing taking loans from the central government and is not being able to pay back the loans. The state is in a state of poverty. The people are not getting the facilities that they want. So these are the problems that our country faces, and some of the regions are very less represented, like the northeastern regions. The development is very low. There are some of the geographical reasons also, because it is hilly area and covered with forests, as well as there are many rivers. But still, government should be able to integrate that region in our country and provide equal development to that region, because the people of that region are the citizens of our country, and they have the right to be equally represented in all the organizations, in all the situations, as well as of our country, as well as get equal opportunities and equal access to basic minimum requirements. So even if even if the region is inhabited by tribal people, then also government should strive to bring them under the umbrella of development or integrate them into the society. Government should take care that the customs, the traditions, the beliefs, their history, their heritage is protected, and there are laws which protect these things, but they should be also integrated in the economic development so that they can contribute towards their country. The nationalist feeling should be developed in them. They should be mobilized, they should be trained, and they should be skilled in the work they are doing. So this is how we will include poor, lagging socio-economic groups and lagging regions, as well as so that they are partners in this growth. Now we have looked at the features of inclusive development, but now we look at the elements of inclusive growth. So elements of inclusive growth, what are the elements that drive the inclusive growth, which are important for inclusive growth of our country, are firstly employment generation, then there is agriculture development, poverty reduction, equal distribution of income, social sector development, reduction in regional disparities, industrial development, and environment protection. So these are the elements of inclusive growth. You can just write some points about some. You can just give the points and explain it in few lines, because in mains you have to almost write 3 to 5 lines for every point to explain that point. So you can just explain these points by giving some government schemes which are aimed at employment generation or agriculture development, or just write the definition of these elements of inclusive growth. So we all know that these points are very important, that is employment generation, agriculture development, poverty reduction, equal distribution of income, social sector development, reduction in regional disparities, industrial development, and environment protection. So the environment protection is needed, so that our country develops sustainably, and the resources that we have today, the future generation should also be able to enjoy these resources and utilize these resources. It should not be that our generation only uses these resources and the resources gets fully utilized and and are finished. So the future generations should also get benefits of the resources which our country has. So we have to focus on sustainable development. There are 18 sustainable development goals which our country should follow, and also we should take care of the future generations. So environment protection is very necessary. Industrial development is necessary for creating jobs, as well as for making the country self sufficient and eradicating poverty, so that the country is able to establish industries in each and every sector, maybe IT or manufacturing goods, electronics, automobiles, or supercomputers, or two wheelers, or banking, or any type of industry which comes under this, which will help in creating jobs, creating employment for the youth, so that they can contribute towards the national income. Then reduction in regional disparities, I have explained it in the previous slides. And social sector development, I have explained it in the previous slides. Equal distribution of income, I've explained it in the previous slide, that there is progressive taxation, and also government is focusing on many schemes which help in equal distribution of income. Then poverty reduction and agriculture development, which is one of the main features of India, because in still almost 40 to 45% of our labor force, not 40 to 45, almost 60% of our labor force is still engaged in agricultural activities. That is not directly into agriculture, but the activities associated with agriculture, that is food processing or transportation, distribution, these types of activities, hoarding, then go downs, these types of activities are also dependent on agriculture activities. Then there comes employment generation. So this is one of the main manifestos and promises of the government, which whenever election happens, and the government also all the government which stand in the election, which contest the elections, are always focusing on employment generation and telling that the manifesto is to generate as many jobs as possible. Then comes the challenges in achieving inclusive growth. So what are the challenges? So the first one is poverty. So poverty is that when the person is not able to meet the basic minimum requirements of his life, this is known as poverty. So government is focusing on giving poor people basic facilities such as housing, shelter, food, clothing, jobs, sanitation, healthcare, life insurance, health insurance, and these types of facilities for poor people at a very low and cheap cost, so that they can be integrated into the society, and they don't fall into poverty, because poverty is a very bad state, and the person lives in very difficult condition. So if our country has to become a developed country, it has a large population, so eradicating poverty is a big challenge for the government. The only way forward is providing good education and developing skills in the people, so that they are able to earn a better living for themselves. And the people should come forward themselves, that they are not dependent on anyone or the government, and are self-dependent. Then issues with social development, still many of the castes and classes and other tribal populations, as well as SC/STs, OBCs are marginalized, untouchables are marginalized, and they are not very well accepted in the society. Even people belonging to minorities are not very well accepted in the society. People don't take care of their emotions, and as well as their emotions, as well as their feelings, or sometimes they discriminate discriminate them, as well as discriminate their religion, because of which riots take place. So these types of things should not happen in the country. So we should these are the issues with social development. Then comes the agriculture backwardness. So as we saw that during the Green Revolution in 1960s, the Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh was able to benefit from the high yielding varieties of seeds and irrigation facilities, but still many parts of the country like Eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal remains backward. They are not using all the genetically modified crops, the high yielding variety crops, and which provide good yield, which provide which can be grown in less water, less resources, and genetically modified crops which are resistant to diseases. So and also they are not using technology, that is technological advancements like machineries and tractors as well as other things, harvesters and food processing um, machines, which are mainly which can work faster and make their work easier as well as faster. They can save time as well as money. And one of the major reasons is the small area of land holdings. It is only 1.08 hectares for a farmer in India. Because of the large population, land is getting fragmented day by day. So this is one of the major reasons. So the only um, only thing which can be done is to is to either shift these farmers into different sectors, or increase the leasing of land, or the technology, giving capital and loans to the farmers at very cheap rates to develop their technology, and as well as giving subsidies, because every year a large number of farmers die from suicide in India because they are not able to fulfill their basic amenities. So government has to focus on these areas. Then there comes the regional disparities. I have explained this in the previous slides. Then unemployment is a very big feature of Indian society. Most of the there is a statistic that when among graduate people, 17% are 16 to 17% are unemployed in 2022, whereas the people who are not graduate, only 6% are unemployed. So this is a very big number. In case of country which has a population of 135 or 140 crores, we are going to surpass China in 2023 in population. And unemployment is a very big cause of our country not being developed, and our country being poor, and poverty is setting into the country. So to take care of this unemployment, government should focus on developing skills, training people in various sectors, as well as voluntary training and mobilization of people, and education of people from the grassroots level, so that they can be trained in different sectors and contributing to the economy in many ways. So this is one of the reasons of unemployment. Also, one of the reasons is the government job race. The people are into a rat race to get into government jobs. They remain unemployed till they get a government job, or till they destroy their future, or the young age between the 20s and the 30s, because they don't want to work in private jobs, because in case of private jobs, the people have to work a lot and the salary is only limited. But in case of government jobs, there is a lot of corruption, and the people get many facilities also, and also the work is less. But so the youth in India are in a rat race to get into government jobs, and also the government jobs are considered more prestigious as if they are compared to private jobs. Then then we come to the point how inclusive development is measured. So the first thing about how it is measured is inclusion. So you have to these are the challenges in achieving inclusive growth. So you have to remember this. You can write these points in the mains, that is poverty, issues with social development, agriculture backwardness, regional disparities, and unemployment. Now comes the inclusive growth part, how we measure inclusive growth. So the first one is the Inclusive Development Index. It was compiled by the World Economic Forum. India ranked 62nd out of 74 emerging countries and was among the least inclusive countries in group of G20 countries. So the rank of India is not very good, because the government is not implementing its schemes very strictly. There is corruption. People are also not very much aware about these things. So these are the reasons why our country is ranked 62nd out of 74 emerging countries and the last country in group of G20, that is group of 20 countries. Then Inclusive Development Index. So India should try to improve its rank and focus on improving its rank in the Inclusive Development Index. So the Inclusive Development Index is based on the idea that most people base their country's growth not on GDP but by their own standard of living. Yes, this is the main reason, that the Inclusive Development Index is based on the idea that most people base their country's growth, that is how the country is growing, the people base their country's growth not on GDP, but by their own standard of living. So in case of India, almost 85%, 80 to 85% of the population earns less than 25,000 rupees per month. So this is the condition of India. And so if they earn so less, then the living standards of the people will be low, because there is less disposable income in the hands of the people. So if the standard of living is low in a country, then the country's growth, people will base their country's growth as not very much, that is, the country is not growing well. But sir, there are some very rich people in India, but most of the people are work in the unofficial sector and unregulated sectors, and are laborers, farmers, and tenant workers, tenant laborers, tenant agriculturists, as well as they are working in unorganized sectors. And even if they are working in an organized sector or a private corporation, then also the starting salary of a skilled person like an engineer is 20 to 25,000 rupees in a average company. So this is how the 85 to 90% of population earns less than 25,000 per month. And below poverty line population is also very large in India. So one of the main reasons is population growth and the lack of resources. So these are the things which India should focus on. Now it gives a measure of inequality based on 3 parameters: growth and development, inclusion, intergenerational equity, and sustainability. So growth and development of India is good, but inclusive growth is very less compared to other countries. And intergenerational equity and sustainability, government is taking steps to improve sustainability, but still it is not up to the standards of other countries, like the developed countries of Western Europe, like Spain, Germany, France, Italy, and Belgium, Netherlands, UK, USA, Canada, these. And also the inclusive growth is not that much. Then comes second indicator of inclusive. First indicator is Inclusive Development Index, compiled by the World Economic Forum. Second one is SPI. It is an aggregate index of social and environmental indicators, which includes the following. SBI is social and environmental indicator, is an social and environmental indicator which takes into consideration basic human need, foundation of well-being, and opportunity. So basic human need, foundation of well-being, and opportunity. So these are the things which SPI takes into consideration. So if we take the case of India, not basic human need of all the people are still not fulfilled. There are many people below poverty line, and the government has to take steps to bring them above the poverty line. Then foundation of well-being, if the people are poor, they cannot live a good life, they cannot maintain a good standard of living, and well-being will not be good because they will be affected by diseases, pandemics, they don't have healthcare facilities, they don't have good educational, they are not accepted into the society. So the well-being will not be good. And the opportunity, so still the government is providing many government schemes for equality of opportunity to women, as well as other sections of the society. Still people are not aware. The government is not able to create awareness should be created, mobilization of the people should be done, training of the people should be done. Then vocational training should be done, and also skill development should be done. Then Global Slavery Index, this is the third indicator of inclusive growth. So it is released by the Walk Free Foundation of Australia. The first one was Inclusive Development Index, released by World Economic Forum. The second one is Index of Social and Environmental Indicators, which includes SPI. And the third one is Global Slavery Index, released by the Walk Free Foundation of Australia. Modern slavery means a situation where one person has taken away another person's freedom to control their body so that they can be exploited. In India, slavery has been abolished, so India is performing well in this global slavery index. And India, slavery has been abolished, and also women trafficking and trafficking of children, as well as using someone for their exploiting someone. These are all which come under Indian laws and have been eradicated. But still many people do it illegally, but India performs well in global slavery index, as slavery is abolished here, women trafficking is abolished here, child labor is abolished here, the factory workers, the industrial workers are given rights, they are given security of tenure, they are given minimum wages, and also maximum working hours in which they have to work. So the companies and the industries and the corporates have to take care of these norms. Otherwise, if they don't follow the law, they will be punished by the judiciary. So components of inclusive growth. 11th 5-year plan. So in 11th 5-year plan, what were the components of inclusive growth? The latest plans are the 11th 5-year plan and the 12th 5-year plan. So what are the components of inclusive growth? Is access to essential services, employment generation, women empowerment, good governance, skill building, equality of opportunity, and poverty reduction. Government is you have just go on Google and search government scheme based on these points, that is employment, government schemes for employment generation, then government schemes for women empowerment, like Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, then working women hostels. These are the government schemes for women empowerment. Then good governance, there are government schemes for good governance also, like member of parliament, village development scheme. These are good governance schemes. Then skill building are Skill India campaign by PM Narendra Modi, and increasing the skill of people in the villages. There is also a scheme based on that. Then equality of opportunity is provided by providing basic facilities, quality basic facilities to all the people. Then poverty reduction, there are many schemes for poverty reduction also. First one is the reservation that is given to marginalized sections of the society, and progressive taxation, and also the Jan Dhan Yojana, in which everyone has to create a bank account in uh, a government bank, so that it can be the bank account can be created at 0 rupees, and then credit rating will be identified of all the people. The credit rating will be identified, and they can get loans. May not be very big loans, but small loans, how their credit rating is. And microfinance institution, regional rural banks, these are also included in this poverty reduction. Vocational training of people, then skill development, then Pandit Deen Dayal Gramin Kaushal Yojana. These are some of the programs for poverty reduction. Then access to essential service, these are provided by the government, and employment generation schemes are also there. Employment generation is done mainly by when the government develops the country by putting in capital in infrastructure or large development products, or giving development projects to the corporates or the government institutions. Then this creates employment. Inclusive growth and 12th 5-year plan. The plan document begins with the anticipating 3 economic scenarios at the end of 12th plan. These 3 scenarios are strong inclusive growth, insufficient action, and policy logjam. These were the components of 12th 5-year plan. Then government schemes for inclusive growth. These are very important, and you can write these points in the mains exam. You have to write these points in the mains exam. It will make your answers fruitful, and it will help the examiner in identifying your answers and make the answers different, because the examiner will think that this child is very much the answers are very much different from other answers, and the answer of this child is very much child or person is very much different from the answers of other people. And he's able to explain the government schemes very well. So he knows at least he has a very good knowledge of at least government schemes. So he's definitely if not a sure shot candidate, but he's definitely is able, he has the ability to come into civil services. Then government schemes are Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act scheme, which provides 100 days of employment to people, to laborers and people in unorganized sector. Then Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, Mudra Bank scheme, which helps in microfinance. It is a type of microfinance institutions, and you can take loans. Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana. These are the government schemes for inclusive development. MG Narega, PMEGP, Mudra Bank Scheme, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana. Then way forward, making our tax systems fairer and more effective, ensuring people can earn the wages they need to thrive, and creating a business environment that attracts new firms and boosts communities. Yes, one of the major drawbacks of India is that it does not focus on research and development and innovation, and our education system is based on such a our education system is a type of mugging up system in which is expert in creating clerks and peons and people who are just mugging up things and are in a rat race to score good marks and get degrees, and at the end they remain unskilled and they don't focus on developing their skills. But because what we are taught is to get good marks in exams from our childhood, so that we can get a good job, but we are not able to understand that we can get a good job in a good company, or we can develop our entrepreneur skills only if we learn how to only if we identify a field in which we want to become an expert and become and develop those skills, and then rectify our mistakes and polish our skills and become the best in implementing those skills. So that is how we can earn a better living for ourselves, develop our mind, as well as earn a better income, and also inspire others to do better in life. We have to develop entrepreneur skills so that we are not only working in a company, but we are able to provide employment for other people in our country, and able to generate income from other people, and able to promote able to give jobs to other people in our country. If we are an entrepreneur, we will be able to give jobs to other people in our country, and we will be able to create an environment which is fruitful and which is a growing environment, which is a economically sustainable environment, and the economic growth which will focus on economic growth and the betterment of other people also. So this is how entrepreneur skills should be also be developed. So this is all about inclusive growth in India and the issues associated with it. We will focus on more videos. I will upload more videos on GS paper 3 in the upcoming days, and they are very important because these are very short notes and they will be very helpful to you in writing your answers. So please like, share and subscribe the channel for more such informational videos, and hope you understand this video very well, and hope you find this channel informational and this video informational, and hope you are able to benefit from this video. See you in the next video.